So Apple's spring event just aired last night and it was the same as always. Insane cinematography, a whole new line of products and fantastic production quality. But in this video, we're doing something completely different. We're going to talk about the products that I'm actually excited about and what I think was the headline of last night and things that you actually need to be updated about. So let's not waste any time. Let's get into it. So we've had access to the Apple Find My network for a very long time. The Find My network basically works on the Find My app. How it basically works is it's a worldwide network of all the Apple devices out there, which lets you track your missing Apple product or any device that you own on a live map. How this basically helps you is, for instance, somebody steals a particular Apple product that you own, and I happen to pass by that person who's stolen your Apple product. While you're sitting at home for your Apple product on the Find My network, you're going to get an instant new location of your product because your product's location is going to bounce off my Apple iPhone, which is in my pocket, and that's basically how you can do location tracking using the Find My network. All of this works in the Find My app, which is on any iOS device. While the Find My network is beautiful, very well established, and has been running for a really long time now, Apple has now decided to add some amazing hardware to this entire lineup with their own little trackers. What we're talking about right now is AirTags. It's something that has been rumored for a very long time. We've been all waiting for it. There have been rumors on every Apple forum about it, and there have been a number of leaks, and turns out the AirTags actually look very similar to the leaks that we actually saw and the renders that we actually saw in the past. So AirTags are these tiny shiny metal discs that basically look like coins. They're really thin, really small. They're made of metal. They're extremely thin and they weigh barely anything. They also connect to the Find My network, and that's what they're basically used for, to find your different products, but not only Apple products in this case, absolutely any product that you attach them to. In addition, they also have a built-in speaker and Bluetooth capabilities. So basically you can ping any product that you attach your AirTag to, which will give you an audible reach out for you to understand how far or close your product actually is. And other than that, it also has Bluetooth. So when you're in Bluetooth range with the product that your AirTag is connected to, you actually get a visual feedback and direction on your iPhone showing you how far or close the product is and pointing you in the direction towards the product. Of course, to take full advantage of this whole visual feedback that you get via Bluetooth range on your iPhone, you need to have an iPhone 11 series or an iPhone from the 12 series that's actually released, because it makes use of the U1 chip on the inside of your iPhone to actually connect to the AirTag. But now that we know what an AirTag looks like and what it actually does, what I actually love about the AirTags is what you can do with them yourselves. You can toss an AirTag into your luggage. You can throw it into your backpack. You can throw it into your tech pouch. You can even attach it to your dog or your cat's collars when they're out and about if you want to track them and keep an eye on them. Overall, it's extremely versatile, and that's what makes it so special. So AirTags can be bought singularly as one piece, or you can buy a set of 4 at one time. The price is variable for both. It depends how many you actually need and how much tech you're carrying around. If you need a single AirTag, go for it. If you have multiple devices, multiple tech pouches, multiple bags, or if you're out on vacation and you need to track all your suitcases, all your luggage, then I would suggest for the pack of 4, which is a lot more useful. 2 important things that you need to know about AirTags is, firstly, if you find somebody else's AirTag, all you got to do is tap it to your phone or touch it to your phone, and your iPhone's going to be able to give you the owner's contact details and name so that you can actually contact them yet again. The AirTags have a circular battery on the inside of them that can be replaced, and these batteries are supposed to last for about a year, which basically means once you buy AirTags, all you got to do is replace the batteries every year and you have trackers on you for life. Now let's jump into the next product that I'm really excited about that Apple announced yesterday, which according to me was the headliner of the show. It's the iPad Pro. So the new iPad Pros come in the exact same sizes, they come at the same price range, they still have that unibody design, and it's still a glass and metal sandwich that looks extremely premium. But that's not what's important. What's important today is what's on the inside of the iPad Pros. We have M1 chips on the iPad Pros now, the 11-inch and the 12.9-inch, and this is game-changing. As an M1 Mac user myself, I believe that anything with an M1 chip inside is going to be absolutely insane. It's a complete beast. I've been editing all my videos on an M1 Mac, and I've been doing everything that I do on an M1 Mac of late, and the computer is blazing fast. To be completely honest, the iPad Pro from 2020 and 2019 was no slouch. They had the A12X and the A12Z chips inside, and honestly, putting an M1 chip into an iPad at this point in time, according to me, is really out of the world. It's also a little bit of overkill because the A12Z and the A12X ready so fast, there was never a moment you would actually think that you need more power. These chips could eat through absolutely anything, and trust me, I've been using my iPad Pro for almost 6 months now. Almost 10 videos on this YouTube channel have been shot on 5K on my GoPro Hero 9, as well as shot on 4K on my iPhone. The iPad Pro would eat all of this footage together and not even break a sweat. Like I said, the iPad Pro is no slouch. It already was way ahead of its time. Putting an M1 chip into this, Don't get me wrong, I'm a big fan of M1, but you really don't need that kind of power on an iPad. Nonetheless, for people who are going completely iPad only, this is definitely the place you want to be at. You can never expect more performance out of your iPad than what you will get right now. Two more things you need to know about the iPad is firstly the fact that the M1 chip is now inside it. You do not only get a USB-C port, you also have Thunderbolt compatibility, which is absolutely insane because Thunderbolt is going to give you a lot faster data transfer speeds, which is basically when you're using external storage. Also going to get up to 2 terabytes of internal storage because now Apple has finally started realizing that there are a lot of people out there who use their iPad Pro with the Magic Keyboard as their main computer. There's a lot of people in the market who can get 99% of their work done on an iPad. It all comes down to personal workflow and what you actually do for a living. I have 512 gigs on my iPad Pro right here. I'm not even crossed 150 GB of storage consumption on this device, but 2 terabytes is great. Furthermore, the next major feature on the iPad Pro is the fact that they've now given you 5G on the iPad Pro, which does not exist in India. So don't worry about it. Stick to what you have if 5G is the only reason that you're thinking about getting a new iPad. Okay, so now that we've looked at all the features between the two iPad Pros that have come out, the 11-inch and the 12.9-inch, we got to look at the differences that Apple has given the 12.9-inch over the 11. The 12.9-inch basically has new display tech in it. Yes, we're talking about a brand new display that is on the 12.9-inch that has not been seen on any Apple product in the market. We're talking about Mini LED. So Mini LED is on the 12.9-inch iPad and it's overall really game-changing, and there's a couple of reasons for that. Mini LED is not OLED. OLED is what 90% of our smartphones use in the market right now. Apple is always stuck to LCDs till date. Mini LED kind of falls in the middle of OLED and LCD. OLED panels have amazing colors. The blacks are really rich, really great to look at and use. LCD has been pretty good so far. I'm still using my LCD panel on my iPad Pro from 2020. I've had no issues with it. Benefits of Mini LED are different. They do give you those deeper blacks and richer colors that OLED gives you, but they do not have the screen burn that OLED has. It'll be much more long lasting if you look at that aspect. Furthermore, what Mini LED is giving you on your new iPad is the ability to increase to a total amount of 1600 nits of brightness, which is a massive leap for any iPad in the market. As a matter of fact, for any mobile device in the market. Definitely a massive boost in hardware on the overall if you look at it with the new display tech and the new M1 chips and Thunderbolt and storage upgrades, and overall the iPad is going to be a complete beast. Definitely when it comes to hardware, you have no questions to be asked. The iPad Pro is going to be a crazy performer. But let's talk about the iPads just a little bit more. So the thing about iPads is they're great. I actually shifted over my workflow from a Mac to an iPad last year, and that was before I got into editing on professional apps such as Final Cut Pro or Adobe Premiere Pro, DaVinci Resolve, or any other professional app for music production such as Logic Pro or Xcode. I never used any of these platforms and I never used any of these programs in the past. So at that point, the workflow on the iPad was insane. Apps that I could work around for video editing. I had a lot of photo editing apps and I had a lot of content consumption, which is what I basically did on the iPad, and that's what most people do on an iPad. But the thing is, when I got the M1 Mac, I shifted my workflow to Final Cut Pro from LumaFusion, which is what I was using on the iPad, and that transition was mind-blowing. Final Cut Pro is definitely a lot more powerful than any mobile editor in the market. It's one of the 3 most professional video editors in the world, and that's what a lot of our professional YouTubers use, people who are really big. And that's when I come to talk about the problems of the iPad Pro. It is still an iPad, which basically means it's running iPad OS. And iPad OS still lacks any of the professional apps that you get on the Mac App Store, such as Final Cut Pro, Logic Pro, Xcode, any production software that you want. You don't have all of them on the iPad Pro just yet. This is where the iPad is restricted. Not that the A12Z or the A12X chips were slow. The problem is that iPad OS hasn't grown a lot in a long time. With the addition of the M1 Max, there is a high chance that you get all of these professional softwares at Worldwide Developers Conference, which is Apple's next event that's slotted for the month of June. Hopefully with an M1 chip and an iPad, we're opening up the gates to finally get more professional apps, but we're going to have to wait and see. So if you're somebody who has a 2018 iPad or a 2020 iPad, hold off. Wait for WWDC, changes come to iPad OS this year, see if these professional apps come in, and then decide if you really need that performance of the M1 on an iPad. At the moment, there is no app and no software on the iPad App Store that's going to require that kind of performance, or that's going to require any more performance than what you already get on the A12Z chip. Finally, there's iMacs, completely redesigned, and the redesign was definitely a warm welcome because we've had the exact same look on iMacs for a very long time. So we have brand new iMacs in 7 different colors, and the colors are gorgeous, no doubt. I like the look of the iMacs. It's definitely one of the thinnest computers that Apple has ever made. As a matter of fact, it's definitely one of the thinnest computers in the world. The new magnetic attachment charger keeps the entire setup extremely thin and extremely clean. Overall, the fact that you have an Ethernet port on your charging adapter, which can actually be put on the floor, keeps your entire desk setup so clean. It's a dream come true for absolutely anybody out there. You have to know that the iMacs are devices that will be either staying in your office or staying at home. They basically provide aesthetic value to your home. The iMacs now have the M1 chip, and M1 is basically destroying the world at this point. They're so fast. The performance is going to be massive, and I don't think I need to even say anymore. I have a video on the M1 MacBook Pro. I'm going to put it up here for you guys to see. Now personally, I'm not an iMac kind of guy at all, because iMacs are, like I said, computers that will either stay on your desk at home or in your office, and I'm on a ship for almost 6 months in a year, so I wouldn't actually use them as much. For me, it's more about the MacBooks more than the iMacs, but I do follow them and I have used them in the past. With respect to features, it is extremely power-packed and feature-packed. For example, there's a brand new webcam which is 1080p right now, which is insane because Apple computers have had a potato webcam for the longest time, and this is the first Apple computer that has a 1080p inbuilt webcam. It's a big deal. Other than that, they also have brand new speakers on the iMac, and it's supposed to be a really great speaker system with 6 speakers inbuilt. That's something that I'm really excited about. They also have 4 USB-C ports, and those are the only ports that you find on this iMac, but 2 of them are Thunderbolt, so you can add external displays and faster data transfers as always. You can also get a hub. Considering this computer stays in one place, having 4 USB-C ports is about enough for an iMac because you're not moving around with it, so you can keep a dongle plugged in at all times and just plug in whatever you want into the dongle and it should be good to go. So you need to remember, this is not the high-end Apple desktop computer that you were waiting for. This is just a replacement for the baseline iMac. Should be a higher-end 27-inch iMac that's expected to come out, which will probably have an M1X chip, which is going to be even more powerful than the M1, and that's something that I'm very excited about. I'm probably not going to buy an iMac. AirTags most definitely will come, and I will have a video on them in the near future. I'm still considering whether I should shift over to the iPad Pro. I think I'm going to wait till WWDC. I'm going to see if Final Cut Pro actually comes down to the iPad Pro with the new M1 chip inside, and maybe then we'll replace the current iPad Pro that I have, which is the one from 2020. Definitely going to be a lot more information on the latest Apple products that come out as we go, and they're going to be on this channel for you guys. I'm going to make it really easy to understand whether you guys should actually make your upgrades or go for these products or not. Overall, there were also a couple of additions in the Apple event. We have a new Apple TV 4K, which is pretty great. The remote is redesigned. I think it looks really cool. Also have a new iPhone 12, which is coming in a purple color, but everything else is exactly the same. This was a breakdown of Apple event. I hope to be able to do this again in the near future for you guys, so definitely hit me up. Let me know what product you like the most. Let me know if you even saw the event or not in the comments section. There will be a lot more videos like this on this channel. I do cover different kinds of tech that I'm passionate about, and Apple products are definitely one of the items that I'm passionate about, so stay tuned for more. Don't forget to subscribe to the channel, hit that bell notification, and I'm going to see you guys in the next one. This is Nitin Chawla. See you next time.